Alert, an emotional moment as McCain family spokesman Rick Davis reads a letter the senator wanted read after his death. Let's listen.
My fellow Americans, whom I have gratefully served for 60 years, and especially my fellow Arizonians, thank you for the privilege of serving you and for the rewarding life that service in uniform and in public office has allowed me to lead. I've tried to serve our country honorably. I've made mistakes, but I hope my love for America will be weighed favorably against them. I've often observed that I am the luckiest person on earth. I feel that way even now as I prepare for the end of my life. I've loved my life, all of it. I've had experiences, adventures, friendships, enough for 10 satisfying lives, and I am so thankful. Like most people, I have regrets, but I would not trade a day of my life, in good or bad times, for the best day of anybody else's. I owe the satisfaction to the love of my family. One man has never had a more loving wife or children he was prouder of than I am of mine. And I owe it to America, to be connected to America's causes, liberty, equal justice, respect for the dignity of all people, brings happiness more sublime than life's fleeting pleasures. Our identities and sense of worth are not circumscribed, but are enlarged by serving good causes bigger than ourselves. Fellow Americans, that association has meant more to me than any other. I lived and died a proud American. We are citizens of the world's greatest republic, a nation of ideals, not blood and soil. We are a blessing to humanity when we uphold and advance those ideals at home and in the world. We have helped liberate more people from tyranny and poverty than ever before in history, and we have acquired great wealth and power in the progress. We weaken our greatness when we confuse our patriotism with tribal rivalries that have sown resentment and hatred and violence in all the corners of the globe. We weaken it when we hide behind walls rather than tear them down, when we doubt the power of our ideals rather than trust them to be the great force for change they have always been. We are 325 million opinionated, vociferous individuals. We argue and compete and sometimes even vilify each other in our raucous public debates. But we have always had so much more in common with each other than in disagreement. If only we remember that and give each other the benefit of the presumption that we all love our country, we will get through these challenging times. We will come through them stronger than before. We always do. 10 years ago, I had the privilege to concede defeat in the election for president. I want to end my farewell to you with heartfelt faith in Americans that I felt so powerfully that evening. I feel it powerfully still. Do not despair of our present difficulties. We believe always in the promise and greatness of America, because nothing is inevitable here. Americans never quit. We never surrender. We never hide from history. We make history. Farewell, fellow Americans. God bless you, and God bless America. Thank you.
That was Rick Davis, a former campaign manager for Senator McCain, and what a remarkable statement to hear a few final words from the senator here just after his passing, and those words were remarkable. He called himself the luckiest person on earth. Let's bring in our power panel. Guy Benson, Fox News contributor, co-host of Benson and Harf on Fox News Radio, and Jessica Tarla, Fox News contributor. Thanks for both being here today.
Thank you.
I want to start with you, Guy. I had a chance to speak a lot with Jessica in the last hour, but just listening to that really remarkable letter to Americans, which was something that he was so proud of himself, just being an American.
Yeah,
the
it was
privilege
really,
of that.
really powerful. And you can sort of picture a man who gave his whole life to his country with about a year's worth of notice, with an awareness that his time was coming soon, sitting down and crafting a final love letter to that country. And that's what this was. I mean, Rick Davis could barely get through reading it, and it was really powerful, really emotional. I was struck by the gratitude, big and small, personal and national. I was struck by McCain's appeal to our highest ideals, a really robust case for American exceptionalism and what that means. And then I think really crucially, a call not necessarily to national unity, but a call to reject destructive tribalism, where we forget that we are on the same team because we are fighting each other so intensely. He said we can be and have to be bigger than that. And that's, I think, one of the legacies that he'll leave behind. The other one being the theme that we've heard throughout his entire adult life of public service, that the calling to do something bigger than just yourself and to pursue things that are larger than your narrow self-interest was sort of the fundamental joy and mission of his life. And it was very clear and poetic that he wanted to repeat that on this really important stage one last time upon his death.
Yeah, and he was credited, of course, in his life as being a bipartisan powerhouse. He said in this final letter, "We have more in common than in disagreement." Jessica?
I'm glad that he felt that way. I wish more people feel that way, but I think if we look at our politics at the moment, I would guess that more often than not, you'd hear from people that they don't have anything in common with those on the other side, which is something quite regrettable. The line that I liked the most about what he wrote and I thought was most powerful, he kept saying, "my fellow Americans," and that was the association in life that meant the most to him. This is someone who had a big loving family, who was a member of one of the most important bodies of government in the world, and it was what he shared with his fellow Americans, with his fellow patriots, that meant the most to him. I think this is where we were talking before we started. If either of us knew if someone had done something like this before and we couldn't come up with it. It's a wonderful thing to get to hear from his own mouth, essentially, what he wanted us to take away from his life and his career, and what he wanted for us going forward to be able to achieve in terms of unity, and maybe looking at someone on the other side of the aisle and saying, hey, we do have more in common than you think.
And because he's been such a towering figure in our politics, and we all know him so well, an omnipresent fixture on television, even though it was Rick Gates reading the words, you could hear his voice saying those words.
Yeah.
All right, thank you both. And I believe we're going to come back after the break with that. Some top Democrats laying out investigations they hope to launch in the Trump administration if they retake the House in November. Does this raise the stakes for the midterms? Our power panel will stay right here.
The best thing we can do is promise the American people, if we are given the majority, that we will conduct the investigations the Republicans are unwilling to conduct, including this campaign finance violation, including the questions around his contacts with the Russians.